I started the day by getting 36 hunter on my birdhouse run, then headed to Draenor to buy more seeds for them. Wasn't sure what to be at next, so after a while of bank standing, I checked what my Slayer task was, but I didn't have one. So I went to Berthorpe to get a task and it was 25 lizards. I hate that task. I bought the ice coolers that I needed, but I really didn't fancy doing it right now. So I looked into the Candra and Easy diaries instead. I tried to rake this gardening patch, but it grew back so quickly. Eventually I did manage to get it down and I planted some jute seeds here and up my farming level to 37. I watered the seeds and left them to grow and then used some molten glass that I had in my bank to make a fishbowl. Well, that was my intention anyway, because I actually couldn't do it. I needed 42 crafting. I made some vials instead, but I didn't have enough molten glass to get the levels that I needed. I used what I could though, and soon enough I did have 41 crafting, so just one more level was needed. I bought sand and soda ash at the charter ship here and then used the furnace and Arty to make molten glass. I blew more vials and then moved to the furnace at Edgeville instead. I kept making the molten glass and finally I got that 42 crafting that I needed. Then I could make the fishbowl and tick that task off the list, and then I had to fill it up with water and hook a fish from this pond to put in it. The next step was to defeat some elemental things, but I hadn't actually done the quest that I needed to complete this task. So I got everything from the bank that I needed for it, read a few pages from this book, turned the wheels in all of the rooms here, pulled the lever to make the blower blow, killed this rock golem thing, grabbed its ore and smelted it in the furnace. And then I used the bar on this workbench here to make an elemental shield and completed the quest. It gave me a massive crafting drop of 5000 XP, which gave me 43 crafting. And my smithing was now 37 as well. So I realised that I should have started with this quest first and I could have skipped all that glass blowing crap that I did earlier. But anyway, I killed one of the water elementals and it hit me loads. So I banked and grabbed more food for the other ones. Next up I killed the fire elemental and then the air elemental, which should have been all 4, but it didn't tick the task off the list. So I thought maybe the one that I did for the quest didn't count, so I killed it again. And it still didn't progress the task anymore. I tried the fire again and that didn't do anything either. So surely it was a water one. Nope, I've been on stage 3 each time. So I resorted to reading the wiki about it, and apparently it wasn't working because it has to be one of the rock golems that you don't wake up. So I killed a different rock this time and finally the task was completed. I got a runner weight here, which was nice, and that was all of the tasks completed for the entire Easy Cantrin diary. So I spoke to the wedge person and got my rewards, which included 5% more marks of grace on the rooftops here, a fancy headgear piece and an XP lamp, but I couldn't use that on Herblore, so I threw it on construction instead, and I got my construction up to 33. I decided to do some of the Canifus Easy diaries next, so I started killing a ghoul, which wasn't actually that easy because when I was killing this one, a different one started attacking me, and then I was all over the place trying to continue with the one that I'd already started attacking. Eventually I got it down to 1 HP and then another one started attacking me again. This was an absolute utter mess, but I completed the task eventually and headed to craft some snail thing next. So I went into the swamp and killed a snail and then used the chisel on its shell, and another task was completed. Then it was banshee killing time, which I needed to buy earmuffs for. Once it was dead I got some soft leather from the tanner guy. Next up I had to kill a werewolf in human form, which is a bit scary that. So I grabbed my wolf bean and attacked one of the humans around here, and it was absolutely chunking my health bar down. I had cakes, but for some reason I was just eating shrimp and I was panicking so much that I decided to leave the fight, but my run wasn't on. This entire thing was an absolute mess. I could have easily died here. But what I didn't realise was that you actually had to use the wolf bean to keep them in human form and kill them with it. So I did that with a guy here in the bank and then was told to get a slayer task from mashing an egg. But I couldn't actually do that either because I already had that 25 lizards task from earlier. And another task that I couldn't do was to build a scarecrow. I had the farming level, I had a rake, I had a bronze spear and an empty sack, but no watermelons. And I didn't even have the seeds. I only had 37 farming, and planting the seeds needs 47 farming. So I am miles away from even being able to grow one. I just threw that idea in the bin for now and went to the desert instead. I started killing the lizards that I had to for my slayer task. And because I was in the desert anyway, I decided to take a few things off of the easy diary here. So after my slayer task was done, I went to Alcarid and bought the desert outfit. I passed through the shanty gate thing and used a rope in the large hole here and then went down into the Calphite cave and immediately came back out. But then I realised that I had to go back in to collect cacti. So apprehensively I entered the hole again, walked myself around the cave, got poisoned, but I was prepared for that. And then my idea was to attack the worker ones so that the bigger ones would leave me alone. But it was multi and they all started attacking me. I was hovering my home telly hard here and screaming, but I found a safe square here with a cacti on it somehow, and I could drop and collect the same one over and over again. So I did that to complete the task, and then decided that it was time to grab more cakes. But I completely forgot that these guards would attack me. Once I was safely behind the stall, I grabbed about 2 full inventories of cake, and decided that I had absolutely had enough for that day. Could have so easily died today.